Hey y'all, this is David, the Georgia photographer, and today we're going to do a shop tour by popular request. Let's go. Actually, we're going to start right here in my office because this is kind of where all the magic happens. I have, it's kind of a storage room slash office. I started to make it a photo studio, but it's slowly morphed into where we store all the extra stuff that we use for product demos and photos and things like that. So you have the photography table, a white table for white show photos, and we have a bunch of studio lights, which I'm currently using for the live stream. That's the live stream computer. There's the D810 that I do my live streaming with. See, I have the tape on the lens, minimum focus, and then I just move it back in between them two dots for where I'm in focus. That's how I keep myself on the stream. And then, let's see, we go out this door. This is the general office area. Cut some light on so we can see what we're doing here. But these is, so my design guy, his desk is here. That's my sales guy's desk. This is Teresa's station. All right, let's move on through. A couple of our girls that work in the office sit in this area. They do the shipping, receiving, billing, things like that. Then we go into the shop. Door's locked, gotta go around. That's the shop cat. He's the only cat we have that you can only pet him while he's eating, pretty much. Like twice he's let me pet him when he wasn't eating. It's pretty rare. All right, come into the building. This is the shipping and receiving counter. All the shipments leaving, like those, will go out Monday. And all of the stuff coming in passes through this counter before going further into the building. There's normally a rope up right here. Rope's down currently. It's supposed to be hanging up. Well, there we go. It's nice and low so that it trips people. Yes, we have a vintage Pepsi machine. Works really good. If you know anybody needing a Pepsi machine, that one is for sale. Over here, we have the first milling machine. This is a Haas super mini mill. These little milling machines have a small footprint. They have this obsession with leaving the vice handles on them. But it does a very good job machining small parts in a production capacity. It's a very, very useful little machine. Right around the corner from it is our Fadal VMC 15 XT. This milling machine has recently had a new control system put on it because the original one got hit by lightning and it wouldn't save a program anymore. So the new controls give it touchscreen display, give it color, give it new functions. It got a huge upgrade. The mechanics of the mill are the same, but the electronics are all new. It even has this little fancy dancy remote control thing now. But this mill is a workhorse. It has been one of our mainstay machines since about 2011, I think. 11 or 12 when we added this machine to the shop, and it has served us well. Great vertical machining centers. Fadal makes very good equipment. And then, let's go back here and cut some lights on. All right. This is the main area of the machine shop. I haven't got all the lights on yet, but I got some of them on. Let me cut on the light switch over here. There we go. This is our brand new 50-ton hydraulic press. This thing is magical. We didn't realize how much we needed a big bearing press until we bought this one. But a good hydraulic bearing press is very, very valuable in a machine shop. You'll see AC motors sitting like this, wired up, but nothing hooked to the shaft of the motors all over this shop. It's because we're out here in a remote area. And because we're in such a remote area, three-phase power is not readily available. So we have to make three-phase power. Those two motors generate three-phase for these machines. These are Lynx LS220 I don't remember the model. They're Doosan Lynx 220 LSYC turning centers. These machines are very fancy. This is 21st century tech here. These machines have, where a regular lathe has Z and X with a little bit of compound on the X, which is the cross slide. Okay, these have C1, C2. These both can be indexed for indexing purposes. They don't just spin. You can turn them to a certain spot and hold it there. This has a B axis that travels in and out. Then you have X, Y, and Z on the tool head, plus these are live tools. These are like rotating cutters. So it can do complex machining on the side, on the ends, because we have special end mill drivers that, like one back there's a drill bit that he's drilling in the end with. All of that to do, we make all sorts of complicated stuff, like this thing. We make that from bar stock, and it does all those operations before it ever comes out of the machine. All them radially drilled holes, everything. And it'll do all sorts of stuff way beyond a muzzle brake. And I have two of them. They produce high volume parts all day long. Next in the shop is this old vintage American tool company lathe made in Taiwan. This is a good lathe. It's gave us real good performance. When I bought it, it was broken. There was a bunch of gears busted down here in the switch gearbox, and I had to buy gears and a counter shaft and stuff, but I got it all repaired, and it has served us really well since the beginning of the shop, which was 04, I think, when we started. We've had this nearly 20 years. I think this is a 1987 model lathe, and it's ran really good for all those years. We still use it regularly. But then we added this monster to the system. Now this lathe isn't as big of a lathe as I'm gonna get, but this is a much bigger machine than that one. Lathes are measured by spindle bore. All right. See how big this opening is in the back? That matters a lot. The bigger that hole is, the better, because then it accepts larger round stock, larger parts fit through the headstock. This one has a 3.5 inch spindle bore, 3.1/8 inch. It's enormous. For a lathe of this size, they're normally about 2.5 inches. So it's a lot bigger. This is the one that I made all the Argus camera parts on. It was this machine right here. We have a plethora of tools to go on it. As you can see, all these tool holders, and there's extra cutting tools and drill bits that we interchange and things. It'll do, like we do deep hole drilling with it. And we use this big long drill bit and mount it on the tool holder and drill it this way with the actual carriage, so we can do deep hole drilling. In ye old side room is a welding booth. There's a TIG welder and torches, and there's a couple more welders in the corner there. We have a MIG machine in there. We keep all that out there. And we have another old stick welder for rough welding is what we call it, for like tractor cart framings and just stuff that where it just needs to be fixed in a hurry, but not real pretty a lot of times, because stick welding can be made pretty, but it's more effective for just strong, what they nickname gorilla welds, ugly but strong. This is our laser. We use this to engrave. It's a 30-watt fiber laser. It was quite expensive. It allows us to engrave metal without tool wear. We used to engrave everything with cutting tools in the milling machines. Number one, it's very slow. Number two, you have a lot of tool usage. You have to buy these little carbide engraving bits to go in the milling machine, and you would get typically 1 or 2 jobs out of a bit before it would get dull and break. This one, you don't have tool wear at all. So over the years, the tool usage alone paid for this machine. Of course, here's our other Lynx turning center. This one's a lot cleaner. I washed all the keys on it recently. But yeah, this one's being set up for a different part. I'm not sure what he's making it now. He's making these. And then there's a build out area where we build out parts that we've made all the little subcomponents to. Of course, then there's another lathe under here. But this lathe used to be CNC. And the CNC control was terrible. and we haven't used the carriage on it in literally 6 or 7 years. All it does is sand silencer cores. But yeah, see, there's another one of those AC motors. That one drives this machine. Now there's one other thing, okay. The bathroom has a back door in it. This gets us out of the back of the building. We have a shed on the back. Ooh, that's probably a little overexposed. And inside this shed is our big cut-off bandsaw. And we use this to break down material for the links. I see they've already cut down some bars because our links turning centers will only accept 4-foot bars. Then we have our maintenance mill. This is an old Milltronics bed mill is what they call it. And it gets a lot more use than we would like to admit. This is a very, very rugged machine. We've kept it going over the years and it just keeps running and keeps running and keeps running. As you can see, they haven't cleaned it in a while, but they use it regular. You can see all the chips all over it. And then of course, this is an old metal rack this is project metal. When I want to do a little project in the shop, I come out here and root around in this old rusty rack of metal and find whatever I'm needing to do it with. So that's the tour of the machine shop. Everybody is asking about it. And Bass Angler's been after me to do this video actually for quite some time. I appreciate you guys coming along on my little tour. And if you have any questions about it, just drop them in the comments. I'll be happy to answer them. And until next time, get your camera out and go take a picture with it, all right? We'll see you later. Bye-bye. Now, one of the things you have to understand with a machine shop like this one that has been basically grown organically over the years as the business grew, the business was expanded based on that growth. So it wasn't an engineered growth, it was an organic growth. And because of that organic growth, things are not like in locations that would be smart. Like the light switches are scattered all over the building. We lock the doors in a really odd sequence. And it's because the way the building was built, it's just expanded out from that original structure. And so it just works out that we actually have a shutdown procedure. It's a whole sheet of paper right here on this board. And it tells you what to do and when to do it and, you know, in what order. And whoever's here at the end of the week, that's how they shut down the business and make sure all the machinery's off so we don't leave something on over the weekend, like these heaters. They've got them turned down. The heater controller's right there. So one of the last things you do is make sure that heater's turned down. That's why we hung the paper up right underneath the heater controller so you won't forget it, because we forgot it a few times. It's just the way it is, especially with a business that grew organically. So I appreciate y'all tagging along. We'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.